everybody, welcome back in the shed. I'm Troy, this is Dave.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about the nominees for the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, if you've watched our episode last year, you know my feelings about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and how screwed up it's been for a long time, but a lot of artists get in to the detriment of others that I think are more worthy. But this year there's, like last year, there's some good ones in there. And we're just going to go down this list and
give our yay or nay.
Give a yay or a nay as to whether we think they're deserving or whether we think they are going to make it in. First of all, I want to dedicate this episode to my friend John Smith, who just recently passed away. He and I were friends in college at WCU, Western Carolina, and John fought cancer hard twice, and anyways, he was a big fan of our show.
Yeah, he commented on a lot of videos, yeah.
And he loved music, and John was a great guy. And anyways, cheers, John.
Rest in peace, buddy.
All right, rest in peace.
So last year, we picked our top 7 who we thought was worthy of getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they picked 8.
They picked 8.
So this year we're gonna stick with 8 because I'm assuming they're gonna do 8 again this year.
Or 7.
They're trying to hurry up and get some of these bands in there, I guess.
Well, maybe so, but yeah. Let's just go down that list and let's talk about it and see whether they're worthy and give a yay or nay.
All right. The first band is Bad Company.
Bad Company, and I can deny.
Well, this is going to be a huge yay for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yay for me too, all the way.
Yeah, definitely. They were a super group formed in 1973 from the members of Free, Mott the Hoople, and King Crimson. Bad Company and Straight Shooter, and I believe it was Running with the Pack, all made it into the top 5 of the Billboard, and they sold 40 million albums worldwide, and it's hard to believe that they have not been nominated until now.
That is crazy.
But it's taken 25 years, and they deserve to get in. I mean, again, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is traditionally, discarded bands like Bad Company, but they were a great rockin' band, and they have this album sales to quantify it. So that's going to be the first one.
The next one is the Black Crowes.
It's going to be a yay for me. How about you?
Oh, of course. I love the Black Crowes.
I do too. Now, they've been eligible for 15 years. And I really wouldn't be surprised if they pass on them, even though I love that band, mainly because of their somewhat sporadic output. From the beginning, they were prolific, but then they've had a lot of lineup changes.
Yeah.
And of course, the
brotherly not love. But they got back together a couple of years ago and went on tour, and the brothers love each other again, I guess.
Well, it's about freaking time.
Yeah.
But I love that band, but if they didn't make it in, maybe they'll get in later, but I'm going to give them a yay for this.
I'm going to give them a yay, and I'm going to predict that they will get in.
All right.
Okay.
Let's hope so.
The next one on the list is Mariah Carey.
Talking sweet and looking fine, I get kinda hectic inside.
I'm going to give her a nay,
I'm going to give it an A too.
but I got to say, she was up last year and she didn't get in, so maybe they were just making her pay her dues a little bit.
Maybe so, yeah.
In reality, she's been pretty huge in the history of popular music.
Yeah.
And she's been eligible for, I guess, about 10 years now. But, Mariah has sold 200 million albums. I think albums, 200 million is her sales.
Wow.
And she has the record for the most #1 songs to ever hit the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
So
She might get in. I wouldn't. Hey, this is where I stand. I don't really consider her rock and roll. I know the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame puts in artists that aren't necessarily rock and roll, but I'm picking no because she's not rock and roll to me.
yeah, but that argument's already been settled years
Yeah,
ago.
that's
so
true.
it's,
I
you
know.
know, Madonna got in on her first ballot, you know,
Yeah.
25 years after her first album came out. But anyways, I would not be surprised if Mariah squeaks in this time or makes it in, because she's got the album sales and all that to prove it. But still, I'm going to give her a nay.
Me too. Next one is Chubby Checker.
Come on, baby. Let's do the twist.
I'm going to say a nay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to say yay.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to say a nay just because he's been eligible for 42 years.
Well, it's about time.
Well, the fact that he hasn't really been nominated until now kind of sends a signal. But, you know, also because Chubby was kind of known for writing these songs or recording these songs that were kind of dance songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, his songs are usually tied into something to do with dance,
Yeah. Like the twist.
like the twist.
And twist again.
twist again. But I don't know. I'm going to give him a nay.
I'm giving him a yay only because of some of the other ones that are on the list. I don't think they're deserving. So I think he's just a little more deserving than some of these other ones.
All right. Well, we'll see how it pans out when we look at this in the fall. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. All right. The next one on the list is Joe Cocker.
All I need is someone. That's just where I'm going, yeah.
I'm going to give Joe Cocker a yay.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, Joe recorded that Beatles song, Get By With a Little Help From My Friends, in 1968. So he's been eligible for 32 years. And, you know, he played that song at Woodstock. Joe Cocker's just an incredible singer, and he's never been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's even more crazy? That version of that song, to me, is just as good as, or if not better than, the Beatles version.
I like it better
Yeah.
because Joe's got that, you know, soulful voice, and he's just so incredible. And he actually had built a career covering a lot of songs. And I think we talked about it before
Yeah.
on one of our episodes that Joe probably never got inducted because he was known as a cover artist. But I don't think that's a detriment, mainly because a lot of artists that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Never
Well-
wrote songs.
never wrote songs, like Elvis.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
so it shouldn't be, you know, disqualifying. But anyways, he also had that song, you know, that went to #1 from the Officer and a Gentleman movie, Up Where We Belong. It was a duet. So he's got #1s. He's got just a great legacy. And I think Joe, if he doesn't make it in, I'll be kind of upset. But he's definitely deserving. If not, it's just a singer.
The next one is Billy Idol.
Hey little sister, who's your Superman? Hey little sister, who's the one you want?
I'm going to say a yay for
I'm gonna say
Billy
yay.
Idol. Yeah,
of course.
for sure.
Yeah. See what's great about this? So Townie's hanging out with us tonight. Dave does all the research. That way I don't have to do any talking. Kind of does it all for.
Well, he's got to do some research too. But
You have more. You're retired, man. You have a lot more free time than I do.
I do a little heavy lifting on the front end, and Troy has to put it together.
I have to pick it up from the rear.
Yeah, so it's a friendly joint effort. Billy Idol got its start with that band, punk band Generation X, back in the 80s, I guess it was. But his debut album, which came out in the early 80s, was huge. It was a staple on MTV.
Yeah.
You couldn't not watch MTV and not see Billy Idol.
Exactly. Because he had that look too.
Oh yeah, and Billy Idol's just, he was different. He was totally different.
Yeah. He was
And-
sort of punk rock, but also pop punk rock at the same time. He had that hard edge, but he, you know, everybody loved him. You know.
Yeah, and he had Steve Stevens on guitar. But that debut went double platinum, and his follow-up album, Rebel Yell, also went double platinum. He's continued on recording, and you know, he's actually done some acting, been in some movies. And
He's touring right now, I think.
is he?
I think so. He's. I saw something on Facebook. He's got a tour coming up,
All right.
so he's still out there playing.
Well, he's such an icon and such a staple, and everyone knows Billy Idol.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame would pass him over.
Has he been nominated before?
I don't think so. But anyways, Billy Idol, yay.
Yay. All right. The next one is Joy Division / New Order.
Hunting by the rivers, through the streets, every corner.
Well, even though I'm not a fan and never really was of Joy Division, they had a brief career, but New Order was fairly popular, so I'm going to give them a yay.
I'm going to give them an A because I don't even know who they are or what they sing. Maybe I've heard some songs on the radio, but why is it two bands? Why is it Joy Division and New Order? Did Joy Division merge into New Order? Or I mean,
Yes.
Okay.
What happened is Joy Division had a really brief career,
Okay.
but they were pretty influential, although obscure to probably what you listen to and maybe what I listen to. But their lead singer and lyricist, Ian Curtis, died shortly after Joy Division formed,
Okay.
and the surviving members went on with this new band called New Order. Of course, New Order's sound was a little more synth pop, kind of dance music.
Okay. What years? What era is this? Like 90s, 80s?
Well, Ian Curtis committed suicide in 1980, so they've been eligible for quite
Okay.
some time.
Okay.
But, you know, New Order is actually still around to this day, and a lot of people really dig New Order.
Okay. I just never.
It's
were
kind
just
of
totally off my radar. I guess.
It's kind of more techno. And
I
kind
got you.
of,
I got you.
you know,
Yeah.
synth pop and
Yeah.
dance kind of stuff, which isn't really my cup of tea. But
I mean, did they have songs on MTV, on the radio and stuff
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the day, I guess?
yeah, probably.
Okay.
Depending on what you listen to.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely had some very popular songs. I'm going to give it to them because I think they might get in just because of
Okay.
their longevity. But like I said, I don't have any of their music, but I know who they are, and I
Okay.
know a lot of people like them. So that's going to be a yay for me and a nay for Troy.
The next nominee is Cyndi Lauper.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time.
I'm going to give Cindy a yay.
I'm going to give her a yay too. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
She's a household name.
Everybody knows. Everybody. All the girls want to have fun. I mean, come on. Yeah. Even though she had a brief career, really. I mean, she was like.
Yeah,
big.
not really. I mean, she had.
She had a couple albums in the '80s that were pretty big, but I mean, I would say she died off pretty quick after that.
Maybe. But that first album, She's So Unusual, had 4 songs that made the top 5. And that led her to getting the Grammy for Best New Artist in, I guess it was 1985. She's a quirky girl, but she's got a pretty incredible 4-octave voice. She recorded 12 albums and sold over 50 million worldwide.
Wow, it's incredible.
She also composed the music and the lyrics for that Broadway show, Kinky Boots, which is a big hit on Broadway and won her a Tony. So, Cindy, you're worthy.
Yeah, when I think of Cyndi Lauper, I think of the '80s. I mean, there are certain
MTVs.
Bands, there are certain bands or artists that when you think of the '80s, you think of them like, Cyndi Lauper, Michael Jackson, Prince, Van Halen, 1984.
Sure.
That sort of 1984 was a great year for pop music because MTV was hitting hard at that time.
Oh, man.
And so when I think of the '80s, that's Cyndi Lauper is definitely in that group, and that's why I pick her as a yay.
And she had
too.
great videos, and she was, like I said, she's really became a household name.
Yeah.
And she's obviously worthy, and she's been eligible for quite some time. So,
The next one is Manya.
Eres como una mariposa
Well,
I'm gonna say do you know? I'm gonna say no because I have no idea who the heck this is.
it's going to be a nay for me as well.
Yeah.
And I understand that they're huge and that it's a Mexican American, it's Mexican band.
Yeah.
And they're like the biggest selling Mexican band maybe of all time. They're kind of a pop, band. But, I'm still pissed off that Los Lobos didn't make it in 2015. So, sorry, fellas, you're going to have to take one for your brothers. Nay.
All right. The next one is Oasis, and I'm gonna guess you're gonna pick a yay.
I'm going to give them a nay.
Good. I'll give him an A too.
All right.
And after all, you're my wonder.
Didn't you pick a yay last year though?
No.
Oh,
I
you
gave
picked
them
it.
a nay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Got that one right.
I couldn't remember.
But they're up again this year, and
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get in. And we talked about it, last year when we talked about their output and how many songs that they had that were their catalog was kind of slim.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that brother thing that's going on.
That brother thing that's going on.
Been going on for a long time. But, they're getting ready to tune up for a tour right now, and it's supposed to start this summer. And like we said before, we'll see if they actually make it all the way through the tour, because they are notorious.
If I was a betting man, I bet something happens when they don't finish that tour.
We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a nay.
Me too. The next one is Outkast.
Nay for me.
Nay for me too.
But I can almost guarantee you that they will get in this time, because they're the only hip-hop band on the ballot this time around. Last year you had 2 hip-hop bands and they picked one.
Mm-hmm.
But, they've only been eligible for about 6 years, I think.
Are they still even a band or a group? Are they still performing?
I'm not
touring?
really sure, but they were pretty important in that hip-hop scene. But they
Yeah.
only, I think, had maybe 6 albums. And
I like some of their songs. I mean, they're not bad. I mean,
no, they're influential for sure.
yeah, but
And,
I don't think they're deserving to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not yet, anyway.
Well, we'll see. They might have to wait a while.
Okay. The next one is Fish.
Well, I'm going to say a nay on that.
I'm going to say nay too.
Welcome, this is a farmhouse. We have.
But I want to kind of qualify this a little
Okay,
bit.
okay.
Because, last year we did Dave Matthews Band,
Yeah.
and we both gave them a nay, and they skated in big time because they got the #1 fan vote.
Wow.
And when you talk about the jam band scene, Fish and Dave Matthews Band are probably the kings.
Well, I've seen some videos of Fish, and I actually like some of their music. I think they're very original. But it's not like I listen to them. I don't know, what do you think? Townie Adams is hanging out with us. Do you like Fish?
I don't like songs that are every song's 45 minutes long, unless you're the Grateful Dead.
Well, I hear you, and they are definitely a jam band. But I first got turned on to them, I don't know how many years ago. I think Gil sent me a CD or something, and I really dug them. And of course, kind of like Dave Matthews Band, kind of listened to them and then kind of quit listening to them.
Yeah, you get tired of them after a while.
But they're extremely talented band, and they're huge on that circuit. And I can't remember how many years ago it was, Fish covered the Who's Quadrophenia album, and they did the whole concert. And I can't remember where I heard it or saw it, but they killed it, man. It was
Really?
awesome, and I
Yeah.
loved it. And I actually loved that band a lot. And I got to give the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a little bit of credit, because back in the Jan Winter days, bands like Fish would never even be considered. But mark my word, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't be surprised if Fish gets in just from the fan vote.
Okay, well, we'll see.
What happens, but regardless, I'm going to nay it.
Me too. The next one, I'm going to say yay from the top, Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
In my eyes, indisposed.
And I could be biased because I love Soundgarden. I love that kind of music. But I think they are deserving of getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Well,
for sure.
They're on that Mount Rushmore of grunge bands.
Yeah.
I mean, really. Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden.
Those are the top
That's it.
four, yeah.
And, you know, they're from the Northwest, Seattle. And that whole scene was so huge and changed the whole landscape of rock and roll.
Mother Love Bone, Green River.
Exactly. And, you know, because we had to suffer through all that shitty hair metal music,
What? What?
which Troy loves.
What?
But
Hey, Warren DeMartini is back with Stephen Piercy. It's a miracle, and they're touring right now, man.
I'm not going to that one.
I would go see Rat, man.
All right.
I'd go see
Anyways,
some Rat.
But they were the saviors of rock and roll in my mind because it was
Wait, they took it back to the basics, and they were heavy. They were very 70s influenced rock, no frills. Come out how you're dressed and just freaking rock and roll, man.
they did rock and roll.
Yeah.
And they had, you know, the first couple of albums were pretty
Yeah.
huge.
That first album, well, maybe it's the second
Louder
album.
Than Love.
What's the first album?
Louder Than Love.
No, it's the second album. Bad Motorfinger. Bad Motorfinger's the second one. That's the one that got him big.
Yeah, Louder Than Love was low key, and that was
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that album was crazy.
But the second the album that really got him big was Bad Motorfinger, and that has a lot of Sabbathy, you know, riffs in there, man. And Chris Cornell, man, just one of the greatest rock singers.
Yeah, he was
of
a
all
great
time.
singer. And the band, you know, recorded several albums and sold like 30 million copies worldwide. Of course, you know, at one point, Chris Cornell split to go, you know, form Audio Slave.
Yeah,
And then,
which is another great band. Yeah,
another great band. And then they got back together, and then they were going to record, and they were going to go on tour, and then they were on tour, I believe. And then Chris Cornell hung himself or something in Detroit,
Yeah,
and
it's sad.
that was that. But he was one of the great singers, definitely in the grunge scene.
Okay, so we're on to the last one, the White Stripes.
I'm gonna fight 'em all. A 7-nation army could.
Can you guess what I'm going to
I'm
say?
gonna say you're gonna say yay.
Of course.
Yes.
Although they kind of released their first single in '98, it was that album, which I think was their third album, White Blood Cells, that came out in 2001, that just launched the band and really got them huge. White Blood Cells kind of created that template for that stripped down garage rock sound, and the album went gold in like 2002. The follow-up album, Elephant, is just a tour de force, and it's a CD or album that should be in really anybody's collection because it's just killer shit. They released a few more albums, and they were great. Icky Thump. I love the White Stripes. I have all their stuff. You know, they split in 2011, and of course, Jack White went on to have this incredible solo career. They haven't been eligible that long, and they really had a kind of a smaller, limited discography, but mainly because of Jack Black. I'm sorry. I always say Jack Black. Did I say Jack Black earlier?
I don't think so.
All right. But mainly because of Jack White. I mean, I'm going to give him a yay because I
Jack
love him.
Black should probably be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. You know, did you say that?
Well, you know, it's funny. I remember a long time ago. I'm just going to go off tangent.
Do it.
But back when they were starting, there was something on MTV, and Jack Black was already kind of semi-famous from maybe doing Tenacious D stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he was going to introduce the White Stripes, and he was Jack Black introducing Jack White.
Yeah.
And we'll have to find that video on MTV and put it in there because it was pretty funny.
The White Stripes!
Anyways, that's our top picks 8 picks for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, and like always, we're going to get a lot of them. I wouldn't say wrong.
I bet we get most of them right this time. I think we have a pretty good chance of getting 7 out of 8 right.
He's more optimistic than I am, but yeah. So what we're gonna do is see how it pans out, and
Yeah, at the end of the year, we'll do another episode and we'll talk about the.
usually comes out in the fall,
Yeah.
and we'll do a follow up on it and see how we how we did, and I think there's a lot of great bands on that list this time around.
I think there's more great bands on the list this year than there were last year, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, hey, thanks for sticking with us and hanging out with us in the shed tonight. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Later, guys.